Welcome back yet again to Ask Dan Anything, and we've got one from my friend Emma. She says, just wondering, if feeling kind of gutted over situations where you can see potential but haven't got the opportunity to explore it is the same as being attached to outcomes. As I leave my current couch surfing place, I can't help but feel like it's a bit of a shame to be moving away so soon from people I've connected with so well. I feel like if I was to spend more time here, like if I was moving to their city rather than just passing through, there'd be potential for developing real friendships there. It's not that the short-lived connection I did get to have is being devalued by the situation, it's just a feeling of, but it could possibly be so much more under different circumstances. I think with what Emma's talking about here, we can generalize this to the conflict between variety versus depth. Knowing the difference of when to move between different things to taste test versus when to sit down and have a real meal and go in deep. This was a huge one for me personally with relationships, to go from dating multiple people to committing to one. First and foremost, you need to know if this is genuine connection or just a fear of discomfort. So sometimes we feel like staying attached to a certain situation or a certain person simply because we're afraid of exploring the variety. It isn't this person is necessarily great for us or the situation is necessarily a good situation. It's just the idea of change is scary and we'd rather stick with the familiar. So I think it's important to, if you're not sure which one it is, if you're not sure if you're really feeling a connection or just scared of the unfamiliar, go and do the unfamiliar. That way you'll know that it wasn't fear of that was, blinding you here. If you can go out and enjoy the unfamiliar, say like dating lots of people, and then still want to be with that person, then you know it was genuine desire for a connection and not just, fear of unfamiliarity. So once you know that, once you've explored enough to know that exploring is not scary for you anymore. To know the difference between an attachment to an experience and attachment to outcomes. So Emma was worrying that perhaps she's become attached to an outcome in terms of enjoying the experience with someone. But enjoying an experience isn't an outcome. An outcome is something you get or keep or have, a result that gives you some sort of instant gratification. Whereas to enjoy an experience, to be present in the moment, enjoying life, that's the whole point of everything, isn't it? If you can't have that experience, then what's the point? So, attachment to outcomes is more about wanting something in the future. It's about wanting this relationship to keep going. It's about wanting more money in your account in the future. It's about wanting people to like you continuously into the future. Whereas attachment to experience is just enjoying what's happening right here and now, with no real thought as to whether or not it's going to last. So if you leave a situation and you go, I want more of that, it's different to wanting something in the future. It's wanting to go back to feeling present and connected. And it's important to know that going to being present and connected doesn't necessarily mean going back to what you were doing. It means recreating the experience of presence and connection, which can be done anytime, anywhere. That said, when you do find a good connection, I recommend you bathe in it, because if you're being genuine and honest in this world, if you're living in an authentic way, particularly a connection with a person is going to become rare, but deep. So when you're a false person, like I used to be, a performer, a nice guy, people pleaser, entertainer type person, then you'll have lots of shallow, superficial connections. You'll have lots of friends, lots of people who like you, but you won't go particularly deep on any of those. You'll find as you become more honest and more genuine and more vulnerable, the number of people who want to go deep with you or who want to spend time with you reduces, because you become more polarizing. You're pushing away a lot of people who aren't a good fit. But when you do find the ones who are, it's worth spending some time with them if you can, because that'll be probably the most rewarding experiences you'll have in your life. And there is a lot of very, very solid psychological research that shows that deep, meaningful relationships create the highest quality of life. So when you do find a good connection, bathe in it, yet also be practicing honesty as regularly and deeply as possible to prove to yourself that you don't need any one person to experience connection. I can be in a situation where there's no one in the room who's particularly a great connection for me, but I'll just keep blasting my honesty out there and giving respect to their responses, and I'll feel a sense of connection even though I don't want it to go anywhere particularly with any of these people. I have no future attached to any of them. And also, speaking to Emma's experience here, this is a measurement. As we go on, and Emma's sort of traveling the world right now and experiencing a range of things that are new, you get to learn what a good connection really feels like. You'll get to know when it's happening. And it's an important piece of information to have, and sometimes you only have that information once you leave. So once you walk away from something, you're like, oh, that was awesome, I want to go back to that. You'll be like, oh, so that's what a connection feels like. So next time you're talking to someone, you can go, is that feeling happening again now? Or is there something else? I'm at a point now in my own life where I can genuinely and instinctively know when I've made a good connection with someone within seconds of meeting them. As soon as I look someone in the eyes now, I know. Because I've practiced exactly what I'm talking about here, which is knowing the difference between a good connection and just a bit of fun. And you can get to the point where you learn to trust your instincts again. When you're fear-based and false and inauthentic, your instincts are totally untrustworthy because they're just based on instant gratification. But when you've been practicing honesty and values for quite some time, your instinctual response becomes quite reliable. And I recommend you read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell to get a sense of the science behind how reliable a first impression can actually be once you've sorted out all your insecure bullshit. So you're speaking to Emma, you're learning what a good connection feels like. You're getting a sense of where you could settle if you want to switch from variety to depth. Because if you've got a lot of variety, you can't have a lot of depth. If you're bouncing around all the time, you can't go very far with people or with situations or with things. Like, if I'm trying every different type of martial arts, I can't get to black belt level. I can just get a range of experience, which, while enjoyable, is not deep. Whereas if I stick to one type and I train hard 4 nights a week, I can get to a mastery level there. If I'm dating lots of different people, I can have real connection, genuine connection with them, but nothing compared to the depth of being with one person and diving in deeper every single day with that one person. Both of those situations can be equally rewarding. It just depends what's right for you at this time. And knowing Emma as I do, I think variety seems to be a good choice for her at this time. She's mixing it up and getting a range of experience, which will give her range of what to go deep on. Once she's had enough variety, she'll be able to go, you know what, I know what I like now. I know what I want to go hard on now. I'm going to switch from variety to depth. I'm going to take that range of options down to a limited number and go deep on them. So you're learning about when to move and when to build. When to taste test and have the buffet of variety, and when to choose the meal that you really want to eat. And I recommend people fluctuate in a conscious way through this regularly in life. If you've been settled for a long time, it's probably time to mix it up and have some variety. If you've been having variety for a long time, getting exhausted, it's time to go deep on something. Make a choice and stick with it. And you can keep fluctuating between these two to constantly grow while having depth of experience. One last thing I want to talk about in this is, these days I don't really miss things anymore, or people. It used to be like if a girlfriend broke up with me, or if a friend moved away, or something big changed in my life, I'd have a lot of regret and remorse, and I'd miss that thing. Because it was so rare for me to have a real sense of connection that I actually attached that feeling to certain things. Like if that person went away, I'm like, oh, that was my last opportunity, kind of a thing. And I get a lot of missing. Whereas now, because I practice honesty as much as I possibly can, as powerfully as I can, I don't miss things anymore because I trust my ability to create connection in the future. I don't need anything now to continue. I've got it all I need in here. So when, I recently moved to Europe, I moved away from my friends, a lot of things I had going on, family, BROJO, everything. I haven't had any massive pangs of regret or homesickness because I'm carrying my toolkit for connection with me now. I'll take it with me wherever I go. So that's why I recommend, when coming back to Emma's situation, it's good that you practice this variety of connection so that you can prove to yourself that no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, you can find a way to connect. And then you can go deep as you choose without having to worry about becoming attached in an unhealthy way. So that was just more of an opinion piece on my reflection on what's happening with Emma there, and it speaks to anyone, I guess, who's trying to choose between variety and depth. If you enjoyed that, check out my book, Nothing to Lose. I do a lot of curiosity-based stuff in there to help you explore this. And send your questions through to dan@brojo.co.nz. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.